Hello, I'm Chef Lamont, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be shooting a series of YouTube videos. Hopefully it's going to teach you a lot about doing some great cooking and some flavorful cooking. This videos would be cooking with roots. Roots is going to be one of the featured items in each one of the dishes we do, and hopefully you'll get to enjoy some good tasting Southern cuisine and understanding what the roots of what we're doing is going to be doing for us. All right, now knife skills. We're still working on knife skills this week. I'm going to show you some cuts. These cuts are going to improve some of our dishes that it's going to look like. We're going to use a carrot for our knife skills because a carrot is a little bit harder vegetable to cut than some of our other vegetables like our radish. This is the white radish, and potatoes. They can do some of the same cuts that we can do on them, but we want to master cutting with the carrot first, and then after we cut the carrot, all these other things you can cut, apples and pears and anything else that you're going to make these same cuts with. It'll be a lot easier because the meat of them, the texture of them is a lot softer than what a carrot is. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to peel our carrot with our vegetable peeler. And everybody calls this a potato peeler, but it don't just peel potatoes, it peels all kind of vegetables. That's why I like to call it a vegetable peeler, which it is. And we want to make sure that we keep our fingertips out of the way because this is a blade. And this blade will cut you just like a knife will. It'll also cut your fingertips off, your finger nails off. And you start getting fingernails into your food, it's not going to be a good thing. We want to take all our scraps and put them in our scrap bucket. We're going to use this for our compost. This utensil, it's got a little movable knife end on it, and this blade will move back and forth, and we want it to move back and forth. Don't try to stop it and use this to cut with it with your finger because it's designed to cut both ways, and it's easier when it's movable. Once we get our carrot peeled, we're gonna take off the ends we don't need, holding our knife the proper way that I've showed you in previous videos. We got pointing finger, thumb on the bolster of the knife, 3 fingers wrapped around the handle, and we're gonna cut straight edges. When you're using your knife, make sure that you're standing properly. You got your cutting foot just behind your foot that you're using to hold. Your hand that you're holding with is, that foot is pointed toward the table so that you got a good balance going on. It's just like shooting pool. If you're standing correctly, you got your feet shoulder length apart, and you're in a good standing position, you're more apt to cut straighter. To cut a straight cut, you want to have your vegetable across the table and your knife pointing on the other portion of the table, so it'll look like you're cutting on your cutting board at an X. You're going to use about 2 inches of carrot. 2 inches of carrot is about the same as 2 portions of your fingertip. We get 2 straight inches of your carrot, keeping what you're cutting at a angle toward the corner of the cutting board to your right, and your knife is pointing to the other corner on your left. You will make a straight cut, keeping your spine of your knife where you can see straight up and down. If you can get a straight cut, the first cut on your carrot will give you a flat surface so that your carrot can sit flat. Get a bear claw grip on it. You're holding it with your thumb and your pinky finger so that you can get a second cut. And you're going to rotate this carrot, making the same cuts on either side until you can look at your carrot and see that you got a square on the ends. And if this is at a square, you know all your sides are pretty straight. We're going to use all these extra parts for our compost. Now you want to get a 1/4 inch cut on your carrot that's straight, so it'll look like a plank. Now that plank on a 1/4 inch cut, you get a straight cut. You can then turn around, keeping your bear claw grip on it, making sure you got a straight cut, and you want to get another 1/4 inch cut off of that plank laying flat. And all of your 1/4 inch cuts will come so that what you have now are little sticks, and all of them have straight square ends on them on either end. These are called bâtonnet cuts. So we're going to take our bâtonnet cuts, and our bâtonnet cuts are used for stuff like vegetables and for stews and salads, for vegetable trays and that kind of thing. So our bâtonnet cuts are used for vegetable trays, for salads, for a garnish displays that you want to use, just even for if you're going to do a just carrots and ranch dip that you like to just sit and eat carrots. This is your best cut for that, and it's called a bâtonnet cut. Next we're going to do a julienne cut, which we'll do the same cut as a bâtonnet, but we're only going to use half of a bâtonnet cut to make our plank, which is going to give us about 1/8 of a cut instead of 1/4 of a cut. We'll take that and we'll go another 1/8 of a cut to make our juliennes. And if you keep a look on the side of the knife that you're looking to get your cuts off of, you can make straighter cuts. And you let the blade of the knife stay flat on the surface of your cutting board, and you won't get your fingers cut. So you'll have what we have known as juliennes. Your julienne cuts are used in some of your other sauces that you can do with and having a good looking garnish on it. Good looking garnish on our dishes with these julienne cuts, as well as in salads or finishing off a plate, making your plates look nice. You have some nice julienne cuts. Your bâtonnet cuts, your julienne. The next cut is going to be what they call a rondelle cut. And a rondelle cut is just your round cuts on your carrot. You're going to get your bear claw grip. Make sure you don't let your carrot roll on you. And you're going to make you some round cuts on it. And these are what we call rondelles. And they're made for vegetable dishes. You want to make things like you'll have mixed vegetables, vegetable soup, some other dishes that you might end up like peas and carrots. You want to have a rondelle cut on them, and that's going to give you a nice pretty look on your vegetable tray. To make another cut of your rondelle, it's called a rondelle as well, but it's an oblong rondelle cut. And it's just taking a 45-degree angle and making that same cut. And you want to make sure that you go straight through that carrot cut so that you'll get a good even cut. And you want to slice it rather than push and mashing through it. You got to go start from the point and slide it forward, making you a good cut. Use your knife to make sure it's using its work. Don't try to cut mashing down through something. You make the knife blade cut itself. So slide it. Point on the cutting board, slide with your heel of the knife going to the back of the cutting board. You get good slices and you got better control. You also have less apt of the knife slipping and hurting yourself. So you got these rondelle cuts that's oblong. You got a rondelle cut that's round. You got a julienne. And you got a bâtonnet. From this bâtonnet cut, you can take and put another 1/4 inch on it and slice it into Bernese cuts or a large dice. So you got a Bernese cut, a large dice to go with it. And you got perfect little cubes. Same thing with your juliennes. You can take your juliennes and make a small dice. Just another 1/4 inch to make your small dice. You got small dice, you got Bernese along with your rondelles. All right, do one more carrot cut here, and then we're going to go with a couple other things. We're going to use a smaller carrot. And by the way, these vegetables that you use, when you take the ends of them off, these ends can be used to regrow your carrots. So what you'll do is you'll plant this carrot in your dirt with the stem portion up. It's already started to sprout a little bit, and it'll start growing. And it'll grow. The top will grow, the bottom will grow. And it'll just keep growing through the dirt. So you can save all your bottoms, even on your celery. You cut the bottom off, put it in a little water for a couple of days, take off just a little skim of that so it'll start drinking water again, plant it where this portion is down, and the celery will start growing. So you don't have to lose all of your celery and vegetables when you get finished with them. You can just cut the bottoms off, replant them, and regrow, as we see with our garden. This cut is called an oblique cut. Now what we're doing is we're putting this carrot across the diagonal portion of the cutting board. And I'm doing what I never tell my students ever to do, is to have anything else on your cutting board but what you're working with. But you're going to have your carrot across the board. You're going to have your knife pointed in the corner of your board, so that you'll make a cut at a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to roll that carrot forward, and keeping the knife in the same position, you're going to make the same cut again. Now this cut is going to produce a cut that looks like a triangle. It's called an oblique cut. It's used for stews and for large pot vegetables that we end up using. So maybe some of your heavier soups and dishes like that, and it's end up with a very unique, pretty cut on it. And all of these cuts pretty much uniform, so they're cooked uniform. All you're doing is trying to keep all of your cuts at the same thickness, the same size, so that when they cook, they're all cooked together, and they won't be one is crunchy and the other one is soft, or one is too mushy and the other one is still. You want to make sure that all your vegetables cook the same. We get everything cooking at an even keel, then we got a much better dish whenever we start out. So this, along with my last cut, this will conclude our carrot cut, but we're going to try one more cut. So with one more cut called the chevron cut. In the chevron cut, you're going to take mostly green leafy vegetables, lettuce, spinach, chard, any of your large leafy vegetables, and we're going to roll them to get a good roll on it. And then we're going to make thin slivers. You want to make very careful that you don't get too close to your fingers, keeping that bear claw grip on it. And you're going to get little cuts, and it's called a chevron cut. It's used for mostly garnishing and garnishing off some of your dishes. I like the chevron cut with spinach on some of my garnish plates, and I'll take and make me a chevron cut, and I'll deep fry it, and make a real crisp looking spinach garnish to go on a plate. And you got a nice looking chevron spinach. This is a lettuce. So you get your cuts up. You know what you're going to do with your dishes. And these dishes going to give you some beautiful plates. All right, ladies and germs. We're right back again. We're going to start on showing you about how to dice an onion. We're going to cut the tip of our onion off. And this is the side that grows up out of the dirt. We know onion is a root, as well as our carrot and our parsnips, or even our potatoes and radishes. They are all grown in the dirt or under the dirt. And we're going to take the top of our onion off and leave the bottom intact. Then we're going to take that flat surface that we just cut off and cut straight through. We'll cut straight through the root of the onion, leaving it together so that we can make our cuts. If we leave it together, then it's going to be a lot easier for it to stay together while we're cutting. We're going to make a series of cuts. We're going to go getting a bear claw grip on our onion, putting the flat side down on our cutting board. We're going to keep our knife parallel to the cutting board, and we're going to make a series of cuts about 1 inch apart all the way through, and leaving about a 1/8 of an inch of the onion still left intact. We'll make us a series of cuts across the middle of it, and then we're going to hold it with our two end fingers and our thumb, and we're going to make an incision across those cuts we just did. Going to put the point into it, the onion, and we'll just slide it out, down and out, down and out, down and out, down and out. Then we'll cut across the top of it, making our dice about another 1/4 inch across. Once we get our dice, you should have perfectly even dice pieces. Quick and easy.